Some men are open books, some are locked safes. And then there's the Sigma door without a keyhole. You can knock, you can pry, you can even try to kick it down, but there's no mechanism for you to get in. He's not mysterious because he's trying to be. He's untouchable because he refuses to hand the wrong people access to his mind, his peace, and his world. This is the part that confuses and enrages others. We live in an age where oversharing is the default, where access is the new currency. People think they're entitled to your openness if they're nice enough, loud enough, or persistent enough. But the Sigma, he doesn't play that game. And it's not arrogance, it's self-preservation. Because once you've been burned enough times, you stop handing out lighters. Here are 10 truths about why the Sigma stays locked to the wrong hands permanently. 1. He doesn't mistake curiosity for care. Not everyone who asks cares about the answer. Most people think questions equal interest. But the Sigma knows better questions are often reconnaissance, not empathy. They're fishing for leverage, not listening for understanding. The wrong hands want details not because they want to help, but because they want to control, gossip, or weaponize them later. Instead of feeding curiosity, he watches it. He studies who asks, when they ask, and what they do with scraps of information. If the patterns smell like manipulation, the door stays closed. The crowd calls it cold. He calls it security. Because the harsh truth is, giving the wrong person your truth is like handing a knife to someone who's already cut you before. 2. He knows that access is the first step to ownership. People don't just want in, they want control. The wrong hands rarely stop at access. Once they're inside your life, they start rearranging the furniture, your thoughts, your habits, your priorities. The Sigma has seen it too many times. The moment you let someone too close, they start believing they have the right to dictate. Friendships become obligations. Relationships become surveillance. So he draws a line, not a visible one, an invisible, immovable one. You can stand at the porch all you want. The door stays shut unless you've proven you can walk in without trying to rearrange the place. Weak men call it paranoia. Strong men call it boundaries. The Sigma calls it survival. 3. He understands that openness is irreversible. Once they see inside, they can never unsee. Sharing is permanent. Once a secret is out, it's currency traded, twisted, and talked about in rooms you'll never enter. The Sigma never forgets that the wrong person will store your vulnerability until the moment it benefits them to use it. So he practices controlled exposure. You might think you know him, but you're only seeing the part he's chosen for you to see. The rest, vaulted. Not out of fear, but out of the knowledge that the wrong ears can turn even your purest truth into poison. He understands that silence is the ultimate insurance policy. 4. He won't be guilt-tripped into opening up. Guilt is just the discount version of control. One of the oldest tricks in the wrong hands playbook is emotional guilt. If you trusted me, you'd tell me. Or, you're being distant, what's wrong? The Sigma recognizes these as attempts to break through the door without a key. The subtext isn't concern, it's demand. So he doesn't flinch. He doesn't rush to reassure. He's not interested in performing vulnerability to soothe someone's ego. If someone's worth trusting, they'll never need to beg for proof. And if they're begging, that's proof they're not worth it. 5. He sees that overexposure is how you get targeted. The more they know, the easier it is to aim. The Sigma understands a sniper rule: never give a clear shot. In the emotional battlefield, details are the aim points, and overexposure is the bullseye. Every failed friendship, every broken alliance, every burned bridge has taught him that too much access isn't just dangerous, it's an invitation for attack. So he stays unpredictable. Not fake, just selectively visible. People can't sabotage what they can't map. 6. He's not afraid to let people walk away. If the only way to keep them is to open the door, let them leave. Most people open up out of fear of losing the relationship, fear of seeming cold, fear of being misunderstood. But the Sigma doesn't bargain his privacy for company. If staying closed means someone leaves, so be it. In his eyes, anyone who demands unlimited access isn't worth the price. This makes him immune to the hostage situation that most men fall into where they spill their soul just to keep someone around. For him, loss is cleaner than infiltration. 7. He doesn't believe in earning trust with time alone. Time is a clock, not a character reference. A lot of people think longevity equals loyalty, but the Sigma knows that some of the deepest betrayals come from people who've been around for years. He doesn't hand over trust like a gift card with an expiration date. Access isn't granted just because you've been near him for a while. It's earned through consistent proof of character. The wrong hands hate this. They want the door to swing open just because they've been standing outside for long enough. But with him, there's no time-based unlock. There's only proof. 8. He recognizes that openness creates obligation. Once you let them in, you owe them an explanation for every closed window after. When you open up to the wrong person, you don't just give them access. You hand them a backstage pass they'll use to demand an encore every time you try to step off the stage. You give them the unspoken right to question, challenge, and even guilt you over why they're not seeing more, as if your inner world is theirs to inspect on demand. The Sigma avoids this trap entirely by refusing to set the wrong precedent in the first place. He knows that if you start at full disclosure, people will treat it like a subscription they're entitled to forever. And every time you don't share, they'll interpret it as distance, distrust, or drama, even when it's just you protecting your peace. So he doesn't play the incremental surrender game. He starts at 0, stays at 0, and only moves the line when someone proves beyond doubt through action, loyalty, and integrity that they deserve more. Until then, the vault stays shut. 9. He knows that most people want access. Out of self-interest. They're not knocking because they care. They're knocking because they want something inside. The Sigma has seen the cycle over and over. Flattery so sweet it rots your teeth, fake concern dressed up as care, strategic empathy that's really just a fishing line, all of it sugarcoating on an ulterior motive. Most people don't knock on your door because they genuinely want to know how you are. They knock because they think there's something valuable inside to take, exploit, or use against you. He filters out these opportunists by being the door without a keyhole, no obvious way in, no hints, no cracks to slip through. If your intentions aren't pure, you'll exhaust yourself long before you even figure out how to get close. And that's exactly the point. The effort alone forces people to reveal themselves, whether they were truly there for him or just for the treasure they imagined was hidden behind the door. In most cases, the truth is brutally clear. They never wanted him, only what they could get from him. 10. He understands that access is power, and he's not selling it. The price of entry isn't charm, it's character. The Sigma knows the one truth that flips the game. Your time, your mind, and your peace are rare, finite assets more valuable than money, more precious than reputation. The wrong hands treat them like freebies, assuming they can take without giving, drain without refilling, and demand without earning. By staying closed, he forces people to pay, with proof, not empty promises, not dramatic declarations, and certainly not clever manipulation. He's not impressed by charm because charm can be counterfeit. He's not swayed by shared enemies because alliance out of hatred is a weak foundation. He doesn't care about history because the past is not a guarantee of future loyalty. The only key to his door is consistent, verifiable integrity demonstrated in action, not just words. And very few people have the discipline, the patience, or the moral strength to afford that price. On a final note, you can knock for years and still never find the lock. The Sigma isn't guarded because he's bitter. He's guarded because he's wise. He's seen too many men open the wrong door and watch everything inside burn. So he stays closed, not to everyone, but to everyone who hasn't earned the right to step inside. And in a world where oversharing is the default, the man who holds the key to his own door and never makes a copy isn't just rare, he's untouchable.